그랜드 사라이가 여기죠. 여기서 여긴가 본데? 스토어원이랬으니까. 아이고. 아니 잠깐만, 저기까지 빠른 이동이 없어? 젠장. 박사님이 이렇게 급하게 빨리 오라는 거는 좀 무슨 일이 있다는 건가? 아, 입구가 어디야? 여긴데? 맞는데? 가 아니구나. 아니, 여기 입구가 어디야? 왔어, 빠른 이동. 나 교회 안에 들어가야 되는데? 아니, 교회 입구가 없어. 변장이 아주 완벽하죠. 아무도 셜록인지 모를 거임. 아니야, 그 가오나 씨보다 무서워요. 얼굴이 개 무서워. 아, 여긴가? 아니, 여기 강도 소굴인데? 뭐야, 여기 수도원인데 강도 소굴이 있어? 저기 뭐 잘못됐다. 저기요, 길 좀 여쭙겠습니다. 안 되네요. 문 열어! 아! 수도원 건너편인, 아이씨, 터콰이즈로에서 있는 커트만치오스의 저택. 아, 그렇구나. 그렇구나. 보자, 어디지? 여기가 아니라? 아니, 나는 옷도 무슨 그런 옷이길래 수도원 들어가는 줄? 여기네요? 같은 복장을 한 사람이 있다. 어? 무서운데? 뭐 악마 숭배 뭐 이런 거 아니지?
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
이상한데? 피아니스트 눈 가리고 있는 거 봐. 못 보게 하려고. 어머. 이상한 축제가 아닌가. 파티? 아무튼.
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
보겔은 왜 여기로 날 불렀지? 폭로 기사를 작성하는데 쓸 정보를 찾아달라고 했다.
Hey, Anson, I see that look in your eyes.
어머. Fuck you!
You know what was here before Mancho's family bought it.
엿듣기. 저택의 선택한 역사. 실종? 주문진? 폐허 아니고 선조의 집 아니고 오컬트. 황색 신문 찾았다. 이거 정말
That's what I like
악마랑
about this party.
관련된
Bring me more
일이
dirt,
아닌가.
Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base
하나 더
hedonists.
찾아달래.
My goodness,
엿듣기 나오면
Sherlock,
되겠다.
they made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just
피처럼
wine.
보이는 와인.
The whores, at a guess.
I guarantee you will have a good time.
어머, 그런 무서운 데가 다 있담.
Sherlock, friend. I wasn't sure you'd come.
Berner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
무의미합니다.
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a
이런
moral responsibility.
파티는
That's not
머리가
morality.
욕망에
Morals are what happens
뒤집어
afterwards when truth
쌓여가지고
collides with consequence.
이런
Do you
파티가
ever
열리는
follow
게
up on
아닌가.
cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened
정상적이지
next?
못해.
Visit the victims? Ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
좀 말발이 딸리는데요. 필요 없습니다.
I am perfectly capable of coping with myself without medical assistance.
Then I shall press you on it no further. But please do not refuse my gift. Take it with you as a souvenir of this special night.
Souvenir of what exactly? But
받아야
all right,
대화가
only to
끝나.
put the matter to bed.
그래.
And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can
되게
make him talk.
약을 한
I'll
상태지.
join you in a minute.
되게 이상한데? 정상적이지가 않은데? 다른 엿듣게 할 거 뭐 없나? 여기 애들 다 너무 음흉하게 웃어. 열받게. 자, 열쇠. 재단실을 여는 열쇠. 재단실. 입구멍은 뚫려 있는 게 아닐까 하는 킹리적 가심. 막혀 있어 보이지만 알고 보니 뚫려 있네. 재단실이 어디야?
Codex Orchis. Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch. These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones.
아, 저기겠다. 여기겠죠. 여기는 입구인가? 입구네요. 허허허.
Enjoy the event, sir.
그러면은 여기겠다. 그렇지. 헉!
My God. Was he here this whole time?
어머, 뭐야? 재단실이라더니 진짜 뭐 재물 받쳐가지고 올려준 느낌인데?
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance.
배 이건 뭐야?
This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
피해자의 피로.
This crude
노예
tattoo
각이
partially
낙인?
covers his slave branding. The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. He died right here.
무슨 일이야? 이 주인이 누구야? 아까 누구랑 대화를 했는데? 담배가 꺼진 지 얼마 안 됐군요.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion. An
피.
open wound spoiled the carpet. Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
와인. 와인으로 머리를 쳤구만.
A sturdy bottle met a not-so-sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
흡연실. 왔구나.
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts.
얘도 진짜
But I'm glad I thought to
이상해.
call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Pull yourself together, Werner.
만치워스 신 누굽니까?
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
시신.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh, who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
근데 약물
then I
들은
called Mr.
칵테일이 있으면
Manchios.
누가 죽인지도
He was
모르는 거
panicking,
아니야?
so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door.
다 약에 취해가지고.
We were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
피해자.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the
잘생기긴
island.
했어. 뭔가 셜록
Too
닮았던데?
handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance and more.
의식에
What about the fertility
대해서?
ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of
아,
course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman?
진짜
Can you tell me
이상한
anything about her?
파티구만.
Oh, yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer, too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked.
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
허허, 얘도
The police remain
수상한데?
unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
설마 날 위해서 킹브러 이런 사건을 만든 건 아니겠지?
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the
약간
ceremony.
한강 효과가 있다.
This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger.
단 거.
The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
그렇군.
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus drawn in a hurry. The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
보자. 흡연실을 좀 더 조사해야 되구만. 핏자국. 피 묻은
A person
손자국.
leaned against the door frame. They left a smudged trail.
뭔가
of blood.
찌르고 여기를 이렇게 짚고 갔다는 거군. 헉, 여기로.
A bloody handprint on an armchair.
여기도 짚었고.
The
뚝
wounded person
떨어졌고.
was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
그리고 여기서 담배 한 대 피고 갔다는 건가?
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
일단 저 여자도 찾아야 될 것 같은데. 두 번째 연기자 마티스타. 여기 찾는 건 안 되려나?
Let me see that stallion up close.
여기는 아예
I
대화가
guarantee we'll have a
대화가 안
good time.
되네. 애들 다 이상한 말만 해서. 이미 다 정신 나가 있어.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
여기 뒤에도 문이 있군요. 분장실.
Similar to the
피
guest's
묻은
robes,
옷.
apart from the bloodstains.
누군가 피 묻은 옷을 벗었다.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
커플스 단추. 그리고 가면.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
가면을 쓰면 누가 누군지 못 알아본다. 당연한 거죠. 그리고 뭐지? 열쇠?
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
연기자의 준비용 탁자.
This is a different ritual.
의식 각본. 이 의식을 읽고 연습할 것. 만치오스. 나체 여성이 어쩌고 한다. 몸에 기름을 발라서 내면의 스텔 능력을 깨운다. 남자를 부른다. 어쩌고. 만치호스의 쪽지. 손님들을 무시하지 마라 마티스타. 지루하게도 만들지 말고. 오케이. 너와 함께하기 위해 상당한 비용을 지불했다.
How can anyone accept such behavior?
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
옷을 갈아입었군.
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
손에 피가 묻어서
The
쓰니
picture is
손을
empty, but with
씻었겠지?
puddles around it.
빗자국이
Blood clots are
남았어요.
adhered to the sides of the drain.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
뒤처리는 좀 급하게 하고 갔구만. 상상의 시간입니다. 일단 범인 찾기 힘들겠는데 이거? 변장해가지고 다 여자만 그냥 얼굴만 뺏기면 끝인가? 자, 여기서 누군가 문을 잠궜다. 그리고 바로 칼에 찔렸다던가 아니지, 목을 졸랐다. 아마 이렇게 싸웠지 않았을까? 머리를 언제 내려쳤지 그러면? 와인병 여기 있는데 여기서 머리를 내려치고 쉐이키야 내려치고 간 것도 이상한데? 아, 끌고 갔다. 그렇네. 머리 내려치고 끌고 와서 여기서 찔렀다. 그리고 옷을 벗고. 잠깐만, 나 처음 알았는데 나 존이야? 아, 상상 시간 할 땐 존으로 플레이하는 거였어? 나 몰랐어. 어머. 그 사람한테 여기서 이렇게 씻었다. 옷도 벗고.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge.
대가리
Then,
내려치고
to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door.
잠그고
The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room.
옮겨서.
Once the body was on the altar, the murderer
Okay.
thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you alright? You're on the floor, not moving.
I
바닥에서
think I know what
안
happened here.
움직이던데. 오케이. 가운을 입은 채 누구의 눈에 띄지도 않고 재단실을 떠났다. 사망 당시 상황. 재단 위에서 죽었다. 열쇠는 그대로 남아있다. 가까운 다른 방에서 폭행을 잠겼다가 다시 열렸다. 사건지? 열쇠를 갖고 있던 사람이 누군지 알아낸다면 누군지 알 수 있다. 오케이, 일단 여기가 끝인 것 같고 이제 이걸로 대화를 한번 해보겠습니다.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
증거. 열쇠?
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him.
금색 별 달린
But please
가면?
be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
오케이.
Sherlock, don't forget to find the information I need before the guests leave.
아, 맞다. 신문 그거 알아봐달라는데 뭐 어디서 알아보냐. 애들이 이제 귓속말을 안 하는데? 귓속말
Manchus had to
여기다.
enforce the masks after the scandal.
정체 발각 스캔들. 너무 가난해서 참석이 어렵다. 아니야. 초대받지 않은 성직자. 아니야. 바람난 신랑. 아니야. 내기에 지다. 아니야. 그 일 이후 회직. 가면 없이 너무 추하게 생겼다. 아하. 다 틀렸고. 다시.
Manchus had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
바람난 신랑. 공작 부인. 오. 난 뭐였지 아까? 회직. 더 있나? 정치적인 갈등? 이야. 코된 부총독이 젊은 남자와 함께 있던 것을 예비 신부인 프로이센 공작 부인에게 발각됐다. 그렇군.
I'll pin them down with this scoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
와우. 무서운데? 그러니까 이런 파티를 왜 오냐고. 그러게 왜 오는겨. 자. 금색 별이 있는 가면. 얘 아니야?
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you
What
must be
is
the
on
one
it?
Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to
Oh,
a handsome young man.
안 돼.
Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the
그냥
murderer to
변태같이
still be...
말한다.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
재단에 접근 가능한
I need to
사람은?
find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos.
산토스.
Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise?
뭐야?
What's going on?
어? 총소리 아니야?
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
어머! 전 아니에요. 어머! 어머, 이건 죽겠는데? 전부 다 숨어! 도망가! 노래 좋아. 분위기 있다. 뭐야, 나 체포된 거야?
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your
나도
statement,
잡혀왔어.
thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. My wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
아니, 이게 문제가 아니라 아까 그 범인 잡아야 되는데 왜 뭐야 이게? 무슨 문제 있나요?
Is there something wrong with that? Do you know something about her?
I was working on the paperwork of her case while you still had milk on your lips.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
거래하는 건 어떻습니까?
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and
그냥
the others think
도와달라고
they're
할
the
걸.
smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer.
살인범을
Be a real
잡아오래.
copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my
증거를
bloodshed.
빼돌리거나
Meanwhile, I'll be
위조할
checking the
생각은 하지
archive
마라.
for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
그래, 특종 얻어서 다행이다. 보자. 악마 숭배 의식을 목격한 목격자에게서 시체를 발견했다는 신고에 따라 저택에 대한 급습 허가가 떨어진. 그래서 왔구나. 체포된 용의자는 보겔이고 같은 방에 있었기 때문에. 보자. 보겔은 피해자가 작성한 모욕적인 내용의 편지 소지하고 있었음. 본인의 시신을 발견했다고 함. 기이한 성격으로 악명이 높음. 홈즈. 혈안의 모든 살인도구인 단검과 기타 증거품을 소지하고 있었음. 보겔이 초대함. 아마도 공식 수사를 방해하기 위한 의도인 것으로 추정. 만치워스. 악마 숭배 파티 주최자. 피해자에게 돈을 지불함. 마티스타. 탈출 시도 및 체포에 불응함. 어쩌고. 오케이.
Back on track to solve the case.
증거표. 목격자 진술. 저 산토스 핀체티는 그랜드 사라이의 만치오스 저택에서 살인사건을 의심해 신고한 목격자입니다. 산토스가 신고했구나. 산토스가 용의자 중에 한 명이었는데 목격자는 설을 떠나 집으로 돌아갔다. 산토스 수상한데? 지가 해놓고 이제 지가 신고해 놓은 거 아니야? 킹브로? 울심 안 받으려고? 제가 신고했는데요?
Look,
이러면서?
I found Werner.
자, 그러면은 뭐부터 해야 되냐? 하하.
I'm Sherlock Holmes.
얘는
I'm
누구지?
helping Constable Oswald.
얘가
You
마티스타.
are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
조리를 표합니다.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
관찰. 얘도 이상한 문신이 있는데 혹시 남자인데 여장하신 건 아니겠죠? 직접 새긴다. 헉, 어머 이게 뭐람? 스스로 낸 상처. 불안해한다. 상처가 많으시군요. 족쇄 흉터. 얘도 노예 낙인이네. 피멍. 과거 때문에 자신을 벌한다. 아니면 자신을 신체와 분리해서 생각한다. 이게 좀 더 맞는 것 같아. 그녀는 자신을 손님에게 팔고 그녀를 마음대로 이용한다. 이건 것 같은데?
You have both old and new scars. Some from the time when you were a slave with Fabio. Other scars have a different origin. The guests pay good money to torment you?
I am skilled in giving pleasure, but I don't participate in such practices.
I thought your body was...
For sale? It's true. Many unwanted things were done to my body. And the pain helped me to discover...
Occult deities? Yes, the tattoo speaks loudly of it.
Yes. Your gods abandoned me, and the ones I favor now are more protective of me.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall,
계단에서
and he
밀었어?
died. We ran away that day.
아,
We managed to get on a ship and traveled
주인.
here, to Gordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
멍은 어떻게
The
생겼나요?
bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
목을 물어? 흡혈귀야? 이 사람은 누구죠?
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and
만치오스.
gentle.
이 사람이 저택
Some of your
주인이네.
colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I
혀
presume this
한번
tongue will get us out
실라라군.
of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
봅시다. 되게 변태 같아. 화장을 한다. 볼터치도 하고. 염색으로 인한 발진. 급하게 손을 씻었다. 사치스러울 정도로 값비싸다. 나이를 숨기려고 한다. 아니면 청결에 집착하는 사람. 나이를 숨기려고 한다가 맞겠지? 화장도 하고 염색도 열심히 하고.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
이 얼굴이
But still, it
15살이라고?
shouldn't be an issue for
말도
someone
안
of your
돼.
status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
파비오는 어땠습니까?
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll
진짜
be sobbing.
변태구만.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances
눈물이
were
날 정도로.
flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
말이 너무 느끼해.
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
누굴
I'd like to
초대했죠?
know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true labourers, I see.
또 뭐가 있나? 아, 단추.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him. You'd better ask someone
이건
else.
아니고 뭐가 너무 많아서
You'd better
다
ask someone
눌러봐야
else.
되나?
I've no idea about that.
열쇠?
You'd better ask
는
someone
아니고
else. That's not something I know much about.
흡연실.
You'd better ask someone else.
하하 하하.
That's not something I know much about.
마티스타에
I've no idea
대해서는
about that.
아니고요.
That's not something I know much about.
도대체 뭘 알고 계시는 거죠?
That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that.
Do you have any
Oh,
idea
okay.
who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told
근데
the
걔가
police.
제일 수상하긴 해, 진짜. 왜 한창 조사하고 있을 때 갑자기 신고를 했지? 여긴 아니고 어디야? 취조는 끝났나? 나올 길도 모르는데. 이것도 대화를 증거물 조사. 증거물은 어디 있죠?
May I ask you something?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Werner, are you all right?
아, 번호 여기
Oh,
있네.
yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything
난 왜
I knew, but they
할머니가
refused
갇혀
to let you
있는가
go.
했어.
They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not.
멀리서 보면은
Anyway,
스웨덴
I struck a
할머니
deal with the
같은.
constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
아, 아까 경찰이 나한테 그랬는데 거짓말하지 말라고. 거짓말은 하지 않겠습니다.
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
난 착하기 때문이지, 맞아.
I can't follow you here.
자, 보겔한테는 뭔 얘기를 해야 되나?
I can't follow you here.
피해자는 같이 받고
I can't follow you here.
진술.
I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
마티스타에
I can't follow you
대해서
here. I can't follow you
경찰
here.
목격자 진술.
I have learned who told the
아이고,
police about the crime.
힘들어라.
It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
어허, 얘기해줄 수 있는 게 많이 없나 보군요. 보자, 뭐가 좀 많이 생겼는데? 깨끗하다. 씻는 절차가 있다. 타락한 행위를 위해 정성 들여서 자기 자신을 준비했다. 근데 얘가 좀 만만치 않은 변태라 그럴 수 있을 것 같아. 몸싸움을 벌이는 도중 파비오가 마티스타를 멍들게 했다일 수도 있고요. 깨끗하다. 만치오스는 방탕한 행위를 위해 준비했다. 아니면 살인한 이후 몸을 닦았다. 근데 이거 좀 애매하다. 만치오스가 파비오를 되게 예뻐하는 것 같던데. 만치오스는 아닐 수도 있어. 되게 변태여서 잘생긴 남자를 죽이지 않았다. 뭐는 파비오 때문이다. 아니면 손님 때문이다. 아, 결정하기 어려운데 저거는. 일단 어렵다. 파비오를 좋아했다. 핀체티는 용의자다. 일단은 저놈을 만나러 가야 되는데, 산토스, 핀체티. 경관에게 그리고 용의자로서 신문해야 된다고 얘기를 하자. 그래, 아무리 목격자여도 조사는 해야지.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
불러와가지고 내가
They brought him
신문하는
in, Mr.
거구만.
Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
고맙습니다. 잠깐만.